I've chosen to do my Constellation project on Cassiopeia. So on this slide, I can explain to you how to find Cassiopeia. So Cassiopeia is known for its W shape, which can make it easy to find in the sky, W or M, depending on when you're looking at it. And you can use the Little Dipper or the North Star. And look to the right to find Cassiopeia. Or if you want to be a little bit more exact, you can find Cephas, that constellation, and his star Alderamin, which is labeled in green. And if you look diagonally down to the right, that will direct you to one of Cassiopeia's brightest stars, Shadar. And now to talk about Cassiopeia's brightest stars, I'm just going to go in order. So the alpha star is Shadar. It's also known as the breast of Cassiopeia. And then if running down the lines, the first line is the distance of this star in light years. The next line is its spectral type. The following line is its evolutionary stage. And the last line is its radial velocity. And that applies to all of these stars. So Shadar is the first one. Cath, up above that, is the Beta Cassiopeia star. And then we're going to go down to Gamma Cassiopeia, and finally Rukwa, which is the Delta Cassiopeia, and that is known as the knee of Cassiopeia. On this next slide, there's kind of a lot going on, but we're going to talk about Cassiopeia and some deep space objects found here. So to make it a little bit easier, I'm just going to start and go left to right. So first I'm going to start with the Pac-Man Nebula, and this one is a large gas cloud, and it's kind of the reddish-orange picture with the purple center. So it is 9,500 light years away from Earth, to kind of give you some reference. Moving over to the right of that is M52. It's an open cluster. It's 5,000 light years away from Earth, and we could see it with binoculars. Now if we go down and to the left, I have M103, which is also an open cluster. This one is 10,000 light years away from Earth, and it contains 172 stars. And then finally, the bottom right corner is the White Rose cluster. So it's an open star cluster that's 7,600 light years away from Earth, and it's called the White Rose cluster because some people think that the loops of the stars look like rose petals. And now we're going to talk about the mythology of Cassiopeia. So Cassiopeia is called the Queen. She is the wife of King Cephas, and she is the mother of Andromeda. And so her story kind of starts with how she kind of is made out to seem very full of herself, and she just brags about how she's so lovely, and she compares herself to some other goddesses and says that she's better than them. And so naturally these goddesses are upset, and they run to Neptune, and Neptune is the god of the sea. And so in order to appease these goddesses, he sends a sea monster to where Cassiopeia and Cephas live on the coast. And it's this whole big ordeal, and luckily Perseus arrives just in time to save them from the sea monster. And so because the king and the queen are so grateful, they reward Perseus by marrying him to Andromeda, their daughter. And so that is Cassiopeia's story. In some other myths, they talk about how Neptune was the one to put Cassiopeia in the stars, and he sits her on her throne, as you can see in the picture, and he points her head towards Polaris so that she spends half of the night hanging upside down, which was kind of Neptune's final way to humiliate her and put her in her place, so to speak. So that's the story of Cassiopeia and how she sits on her throne in the sky. And that's the end of my presentation. Here are my two sources that I used for my deep sky objects and my mythology.